The U.S. Civil War is known for bloody battles and cultural and political shockwaves that echo across centuries. One pictures shattered limbs and freed slaves, but never glowing wounds and raining blood, despite the surviving accounts of them. The Battle of Shiloh in April 1862 was bloody to the point of shocking, with Confederate forces attacking a hornet's nest of Union troops in Tennessee. It is easy for the modern public to imagine the ricochet of mini-balls shattering bones inside the body before exiting in a spray of blood as films capture. But Shiloh is more intriguing for a phenomenon called angel's glow. The conditions after the battle could best be described as a wilderness of mud under a cloudy, stormy sky. Lightning rent the clouds above huddled, shivering troops. According to Lieutenant Colonel Wilbur Hinman of the 65th Ohio, it was a long, long night. A cold rain fell continually. Every thread of our clothing was saturated, and we were chilled to the very marrow. Our teeth chattered, and every muscle quivered as with a mommy ague. Blankets and overcoats, our own had been left back the previous day, were gathered from the field. They were stripped from the dead who needed them no longer to cover and warm the living. Naturally, the wounded suffered in these conditions, but rather than dying in droves from pneumonia and their wounds on the hillside, something strange happened to those men. Soldiers began to report that some men's wounds glowed with a faint but eerie blue light they called angel's glow. Odder still, those men later seemed to survive their wounds at a higher rate. Recent research suggests that the cold weather and lower body temperatures that set in over that night allowed luminescent bacteria called Photorohabdus luminescens, living within parasitic nematodes in Shiloh's churned mud, to enter wounds and destroy deadly bacteria. The glow occurred when the nematodes vomited the bacteria. In the end, rather than being touched by the hand of God or any other mythological explanation, men lived due to a fluke of the weather. Another odd occurrence arrived the following year over the autumn battlegrounds of Virginia. The rain ran red. Now, this is a more often reported phenomenon than angel's glow. Descriptions of blood rain date back to Homer's accounts of the Trojan War, and more recently, British media reported red rain in 2016 and 2017. In the recent cases, the theory is that dust from the Sahara drifted into the more temperate rainforest climate, mixed with the moisture in the air, and tinted the rain the color red. There have also been cases in India that scientists linked to a particular form of algae. In the case of the U.S. Civil War, the temperatures fluctuated in the 2 weeks leading up to the report. Some days it'd be 53 degrees Fahrenheit at noon, and on others it climbed to 72 degrees for a brief Indian summer, as it was November. It also rained in a downpour right before a lunar eclipse occurred, and the rain ran red right after that. As to the cause of this particular event, no one is certain. Much like the case of Angel's Glow, it likely has to do with the weather, and maybe the mud that had been churned up from both the downpour and the fighting. Most cases are known to be caused by the airborne spores of microalgae, but it is impossible to know for certain what kind may have been in Virginia in 1863. It is also unlikely that red dust was present in the environment. Due to the fact that a lunar eclipse occurred at the time, one could also make the case for sunspots as the cause, as there has been research into medieval accounts of red rain at the time of eclipses. I hope you've enjoyed this brief look into some very strange historical accounts that turned out to have more scientific explanations. For more history, you can always subscribe, and there is an ever-growing number of videos on the channel encompassing a range of history, both in period, subject, and theory. Until next time.